with Expansion Network. As you know, I'm known here in the US. We're broadcasting from the US. I am known in the business world as the CEO confidant, and known in Latin America as the president and co-founder of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation. And we have here today again in Expansion Network, we have Davida. Hi, Davida. Welcome to Expansion Network again.
Greetings to you all. I'm so blessed to be here again with all of you. So thank you. Gracias.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for being here. She's for those of you that do not remember, which is difficult not to remember Davida, let me tell you, because she's really someone that does unpredictable things. She's a truth seeker. She's an artivist. And she's actually, I love all the time when I'm talking or when I'm reading her bio, and she speaks about being the priestess of Isis. So we're going to talk, we start the series today. We're going to be together for every single week now. And we're going to be talking about freedom. She was we were very blessed to actually have her pick this title for our conversation, right? Why do you think the freedom talks are so necessary today, Davida?
Well, because that's all we have. That's all we have. Free will. That's all we have. This is actually the only planet in the universe which has free will. God gave us free will. So what we do with it, it's on us. So freedom, it's freedom to be, freedom to express yourself, freedom to love, freedom of movement. Freedom is everything. We're so close to lose it all. So we have to fight for our freedoms. Freedoms are not just granted. We have to work for them. We have to fight for them.
Why do you think? Why do you think that we are so close to losing our freedom, Davida?
Well, I see it all around. They're suppressing freedom of speech, freedom of expression. You see it all over social media. All the censorship, banning, the cancel culture it's wow, how we can tolerate those things when we are in 2021. So we actually make 2 steps forward and then we make 3 steps back. So we actually don't go anywhere. So we're always stuck, right? So those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. So now it's like we're going in circles. And, now more than ever, we have to fight for it, because, it's just, I don't know, we have enough time to talk about all the things that bother us, but I don't know, for me, that's all I have. And that's why I came to Mexico, because this is the freest country in the world for me right now.
Actually, you are really reflecting what most, many of the people out there are feeling, which is overwhelmed. Like there's so many things happening around us, right? That people might not know exactly where to start from. And maybe that's one question I would like to start our conversation with, which is, and I know we only have a few minutes, but we're going to be here many weeks, so that's okay. But for, with so many changes, so many things happening around us, maybe losing also this reference, this frame of reference, which is the history of humanity. If anybody around us had to pick one thing, what would be the starting point? How do you think that, you or we could help the people that are right now overwhelmed by this, lack of freedom that we are experiencing in different areas in our lives?
Well, since the beginning of times, humans had to fight for survival. And once we kind of figured that out, some men, mostly men in power, gained control. As they gain wealth and abundance, they gain control about the rest of the population. And they kind of were sitting back, really comfortable, manipulating and controlling the rest for their own benefits. So this has been happening since probably day one. It's kind of in human nature that we want to control others. And right now it's more than ever, we have all these powerful bloodlines, all these rich families on the planet, that they have more wealth and more power than they need to. I don't know why they need more than that. So they kind of playing chess with us. That's my view. They love to play chess with us because, once you have it all, you don't have to work, so you get bored, right? So what do? You just play like with humanity, like a video game. So they create all these wars, all this confusion, all this lack of freedom for their own pleasure and enjoyment. And now the veil has fallen and it's more clear than ever. What's the agenda behind? And, like right now, I'm witnessing all these countries in Europe, like France, Greece, Germany, UK, going back to the streets, marching, protesting for their freedoms and liberties. There is a new French Revolution. I don't know if you saw it, but it just kind of gives me hope, the hope I was kind of losing in humanity. So the French Revolution, once again, it's reminding us that freedom is not free. We have to fight for it. And we are here right now enjoying our freedom because others before us fought for it, right? So we have to be grateful to all these people who died on the field, for us, so we can be here and express ourselves openly and freely without holding back. What do you think about that?
No, I was going to ask you, so do you think that maybe people should start thinking about like joining those demonstrations?
Absolutely, more than ever now. Enough is enough, right? Enough is enough. It's been 500 days since we started this thing. We cannot even mention it sometimes because they're gonna censor us. So we have to speak in code or, just kind of in signs, because some things can be troubling for social media censors. So now more than ever, we have to go on the streets and join all these brave, courageous protesters, because, to let them know they're not alone. They're not alone. And I know we're all afraid of losing our jobs, losing our homes, losing whatever, but what we should be more afraid is to lose our freedom, because without freedom, we cannot be human.
So obviously there have been a lot of demonstrations in many different places in the world. Last weekend there was actually a worldwide initiative, and there were demonstrations literally in every
Freedom Day, exactly. 170 protests all over the world.
Exactly. So the people that are not like, they don't feel like going to those demonstrations, or the people that maybe are in cities where those events are not being organized, what do you think they could do in order to start like fighting for their freedom?
You can start from the comfort of your home, your comfort zone, I was going to say, by encouraging and supporting others who take the initiative to go to the streets. Just send them blessings, send them love, like and share their posts on social media. You can be a passive protester too. You might have some issue, health issue, and you cannot go to the streets. There's other things you can do online. So just be creative. I think humanity are losing their creativity, sometimes imagination. So there are many ways to be part of this revolution, which is global, which goes along with the mass awakening, the great awakening. And we can all be participants in many different ways, or by just believing in it, but just thinking and embodying it and just sending them blessings and protection when they go to the streets, and they risk so much. They can get arrested, they can get fined, they can get beaten up, you know. They're risking so much, but not just for themselves, but for the whole humanity, the whole thing, for all of us.
While I was listening to you, there were many different like images coming to my mind, and I know that you are very active online all the time, and you're trying to share information all the time, and there's lots of things also happening online, right? Do you, and you mentioned a word which is really important, awakening. Why do you think this is being an awakening, Davida?
Well, you know how mystical I am, so I believe it's all a dream, right? So the awakening is when you wake up in the dream and you can actually control your dream, redirect your dream, kind of make decisions to not just be floating like, you know, like a puppet on the air and just kind of going from one place to the other, you know, like sometimes dreams are, which they don't make sense, and you just kind of sometimes fly around and you don't know where, you know. So when you wake up in the dream, you can say, well, I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to, you know, I want to see this person. You have control in your dream. There is actually in the Toltec philosophy, which Carlos Castaneda explained really well in The Art of Dreaming, you can control your dreams. There is a simple exercise, which is when you dream, try to watch your hands, you know, and it sounds simple, but I tried many times and I could not even get to see my own dreams. I couldn't even be aware of it in the dream. So be awakened in the dream is to be the most powerful, the highest version of yourself for the good of humanity and yourself.
The people that are watching us from many different places in the world, people that are really, you know, awakening, as you said, you know, there's things that right now are seeing that they didn't see before, and they are, you know, starting to take action, right? Because you shared with us. They would like to know a little bit more about you. Who is Davida? How did you end up doing what you do today? You are in Mexico now. You mentioned that you're in Mexico, but you're originally from Spain. You've lived for long periods of time.
Well, I'm originally from Catalonia.
Okay.
Excuse me, I have to correct you on that.
Of course.
You are a Catalan, and you know the spirit of Catalan people, the resilience and the fight for freedom and liberties. You know, it's been in my genes since I was born. So I know I shared that many times, but I was born in this revolutionary soup, coming from my grandma, my mom. You know, they were always going to the streets, protesting and marching to make them heard and seen. So I was born in that energy. So for me, freedom is everything. And now it's not just about the Catalan freedom, but it's the global freedom. So I want the freedom of all the countries, all citizens, all ethnicities, all religions, everyone, because everyone is you at the end of the day, and we're all united. I cannot be free without my neighbor being oppressed and enslaved. I cannot be fully, totally free until the whole humanity is free.
You're also an extraordinary, not only an activist, but artist, and also an author. And you have been kind enough to actually show your holding at the end, just behind you. You have, two of your books. The covers of the books are really beautiful, and they're so really not only beautiful but powerful. You probably see those in the back. Would you mind explaining to the audience what those two books are and where can they be found?
Sure. Here, let me get one.
Of course, absolutely.
This is the latest one. And this is Artivist Freedom. I was going to say Artivist Priestess. And it's the second one. And, you know, I'm sharing my story about all the causes I manifested and protested for, which they're really dear and close to my heart, and kind of a way to motivate and encourage the audience that they can also peacefully protest in a very creative way, because I don't believe in violence. I don't believe in rioting. I don't believe in that. That's why I wanted to do just the opposite. And here, let me show you the first one.
Of course, go ahead.
Yeah. So there is a way to protest, which is just with your vulnerability, being completely quiet in silence, vulnerable, without moving, without action, without violence. You know, it's a really powerful way. So once I discovered that power, I was unstoppable. And that's what I want to kind of encourage others to do. You know, this was the birth of the love revolution. This was actually the first day I protested this way. And, you know, the sign says love revolution. It's the only real thing in the universe. It's what really unites us. You know, it's a simple message.
When was that? When was that picture taken?
That was during the Spanish riots on September 25th, 2012. And I had a catharsis. My mom passed away in April 12, 2012. I had to go back to Spain. And one day I went to march for, you know, the freedom of all Spanish people against the oppressive government we had back in the day, and we still have, because, you know, it never changes. So then I was involved in this violence, in this, you know, situation where all the rioters were like throwing glass bottles against the riot police. The riot police were charging against the protesters. And I was just in the middle. And I just had this idea just to get naked and lay down on the floor and kind of bring a moment of peace and beauty and just change completely the energy of the place. And the protest was with, you know, like thousands of protesters. Suddenly kind of was like when you throw a rock in the water, it has this vibration, you know.
The ripple, yeah, the ripple effect, yeah.
Yeah, the ripple effect, exactly. And kind of it changed the energy all around me. And even the riot police, they were like saying, what the fuck is going on here? It's like, wow, you know. So that day I discovered that I was so powerful, as one individual can really change the world. So
in which place in Spain was that picture taken?
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Like I told him many times, I assumed.
No, it's okay.
In Madrid, that was in the Congress, in front of the Congress in Madrid. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was for sure.
And then the revolution started, you know, the Jill Love revolution. And then, you know, that was just the beginning.
Excellent. Then you decided you were already living in the US at that time, Davida?
Yeah, well, I was in the US by that time, but I had to go back to Spain. You know, my mom passed away, my dad was alone. But then shortly after that, I went back to Spain, to US, I'm sorry. And then, you know, I started doing what I was doing in Spain, in US, in Los Angeles. And nobody was really prepared for that, because it's not in their culture. In Spain, we're used to protest on the streets, go to the streets, do public performance, theater on the streets, you know, we're free like that. But in US, it's differently. So it had a bigger impact.
So for the people, obviously, we are based in the US, although we have, you know, our reach goes obviously to the entire world, but it's more difficult. It's true. It's more difficult, like to find, you know, demonstrations and peaceful demonstrations. It's like an exception, right? So what do you think people in the US could do to actually start, like, you know, getting back their their rights when they feel they have unfortunately been deprived of?
Well, as long as you're peacefully demonstrating using art and creativity, you are protected by the Constitution, which we still have, and freedom of expression. It's the number one, freedom of assembly and freedom of speech. That's the top one, right? So we are protected by that. So once we involve violence, things change, and that's a dumb move. I would never do that. I would never be in somebody's face saying, hey, you gotta listen to me. You are the blah, blah, blah. No, I give the option to the people walking by if they want to stop to see me or they want to keep walking. Nobody's forcing them. I'm not imposing my beliefs on anyone. Anybody is free to stop and see and feel, and they're free to insult me and disagree with me, but they're not free to hurt me. They're not free to beating me up. So that's another thing, and I'm not asking for, so it never happened. And I never got arrested because I was just exercising my human rights and freedoms.
Absolutely. Thank you. Time flies every single time we are with you, talking with you.
Oh, really?
Time flies, yes. So what's the best way for people to reach out to you, to find you online, Davida?
Well, I'm very active on Facebook as Davidas Salaver, or you can go to Davida, my official page. You can find me on Instagram, Priestess DaVida, and you can find me on YouTube, Davidas Sal. And just type on Google or DuckDuckGo, which is better because you're protected on DuckDuckGo, and just type Davidas Sal, Priestess DaVida, and just choose where you want to follow me, what you want to know more about me.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to have you, Davida. Thank you very much for joining Expansion Network again today. Thank you. And everybody watching us today, again, thank you very much for being here with us. I'm sure that you have enjoyed the conversation with Davida a lot, as much as we have. We always learn something from her. It's a continuous inspiration for many of us in the world. Thank you for being with us today, and hope to see you soon in our next interview. Thank you very much for everything. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
See you soon, next Friday.